Hi guys, and welcome back to yet another conversation with Hope City, a new church plant launching in September 2020. They're here helping persons to find their hope in Christ regardless of what they face. Come as you are, no perfect people allowed. So last week and the week before, we dealt with statements made by Christ in his crucifixion journey. All of this is part of our journey towards Easter here right now. So we dealt with forgiveness first up, and then last week we dealt with salvation. Right? So this is week 3, third statement of Christ, and I hand you over now to Pastor J.
So what I love about the first two, forgiveness and salvation, it revealed the identity of Christ as being divine.
Right.
Because only God forgives and can provide salvation for us. So the first two statements identified Christ in his divinity. This week, the third statement actually highlights his humanity.
Alright.
Like how we were talking the weeks before, between him being God but also being man. This statement is found in John's Gospel, chapter 19. It says that when Jesus therefore saw his mother, so he's hanging on the cross, right? And he looks at his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing by. This is John he's referring to. So he's watching his mother and John. He said to his mother, "Woman, behold your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Behold your mother." And from that hour, that disciple took her to his own home. And this is so the context for it as well is they believe that Mary's husband at the time had passed away.
Okay.
That's why.
Right.
So Jesus was looking at John and saying, "Listen, take care of my mother for me." Almost like seeing the need of because he is leaving the earth. Right? He is about to give up his life, but he is still concerned with his mother and the disciple who he loves, right? But the thought in this is, what is so beautiful for me, Keeks, is that God doesn't look down from on heaven, on high, just looking and it's about rules. No, he's actually concerned about the things that affect us. Because he's hanging on the cross. And
I actually never considered the point of view that, as you said, Mary's husband may have at this point in time already passed on. So that's the first time
theologians believe that.
Right? For me, being an only child, now sure every son knows how super strong that connection with your mother is. I mean, yes, we have a connection with our fathers, but the connection between our son and our mother is so different and is so intense. Right? But as an only child, for me, right, my mother and I have such a strong relationship that even if Mary's husband at the time was still alive,
you still can see.
Yeah, you could still see that need for at that moment to say, well, my boy, make sure and
take care of
my mom.
Yeah.
So it may not even be out of just necessity, but just pure love, as much support as possible needed in that time.
Because I think you're touching it real good. Like, as a son, we want to protect our mothers.
Exactly.
We want to make sure they don't lack anything because we know the sacrifice they've made for us. So I mean, Jesus is looking at his earthly mother there and basically understanding, because it's not just the provisions part, as you say. She's looking at her son, who she bore, about to die. So he knows she would need a level of support and strength.
And as she loses her son,
he's putting on.
She gains her son again. So
I mean, can't replace Jesus.
No.
I know what you mean. But the idea is, when he makes such statements, to me it shows the profound love that God has for us. That he's not a God who's just concerned about, hey, you need to get this right or whatever. No, he's actually walking through our lives with us, concerned with everything. that concerns us. So like in Psalms, I think David was one of the persons in the Bible that really understood how much God is involved in our lives. So like just one example, he says this, right? This in Psalms 56 verse 8, he says, "You number my wanderings, you put my tears into your bottle. Are they not in your book?" It's almost like everything, the details. You know, even in the Gospels, it talks about even the very hair on your head is numbered by God. It's like such details that he is aware, and nothing goes by in our lives that he does not notice and is concerned about. So, you know, like David says, "All my tears you've put in a bottle."
Right.
It's like he's so intimately interested in us. And I think that's what Jesus was showing. It's not just about the big picture of the salvation and the forgiveness, but it's like, I want to walk with you every single day. You know what I mean?
Just for my benefit and the benefit of the viewers, if we could just really sound once again there.
"You number my wanderings, you put my tears into your bottle, and are they not in your book?" So there's a book of life as well. God records everything. So he's basically speaking, but God, you know, even David says how God created us, and so he talks about an intimate relationship with God. So that's why I said Psalms is a beautiful place to start reading to understand that. But you know, from what Jesus did on the cross, he's about to die. Again, we go back to that. You know, you would not waste your words.
Exactly.
You will not waste the last moments of your life. Like, because none of us would if we know we are about to die. And so, so for me, it's like, in that moment, Jesus is actually demonstrating to us something that I think we forget sometimes.
Sure.
When we go through our troubles and so. We might say, "God, where are you?" But we fail to realize that he cares about every little aspect of our life.
I feel like we kind of often have a lot of difficulty with seeing God on that level. You know, I don't know if it's maybe how.
Why do you think is that?
How we are raised to see God as, you know, this being just a big stick, right?
Yeah.
So just as we covered in the last video with heaven and hell, and that's just the context we see God in terms of just the person that decides who goes where, and don't really see him as that person to have a relationship with.
Let me see if I could summarize it this way. Based on what you say, we are only concerned most times about the destination and not the journey.
Yeah, it's like what's in it for us now.
Yeah.
You know, the relationship with God is more or less what we're gonna get out of it in the end.
We wanna avoid hell kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
we kinda ignore the journey itself. We just really trying to see where we could end up.
Yeah. Yeah, no. You're so accurate with that, and I think that's why these conversations we see as necessary, and why, like, even when I research it, it's building even my faith.
Yeah.
You know, to remind me that, you know, in my own journey, God is with me, like through the frustrations. You know, when I mean, you know it, I share it on social media and stuff. Sometimes there are days that are tough with my son, you know, with dealing with those trials. But then when you read something like this, remembering that, okay, God, you're not just concerned about my salvation. You're not concerned about me being a pastor or all this kind of thing. You're concerned even with me as a father, how I relate to my son. You know, you care about that. You love that then, you know. When I heard it's on you. You know that weight there, you know. So even for me, and like you said, I think we've been trained in a way. We've probably communicated, and I'll put my hand up for that. As church leaders and stuff, we have been guilty of probably communicating it insufficiently. That this is all that God has been about, and I know it is crucial. So just like I say, not popular to preach heaven and hell again. We have to say that, but God still wants that active relationship with us. I think what I'll close off the thought with really is moving from simply enjoying the fact that God, so when we saw Christ look at his mother and then ask John to take care of her, the part about it that I think is significant for us to take away as well is, yes, one, he is with us in our everyday walk, but also he's calling us to learn to comfort and care for the people around us.
Yeah.
And I think that is something we miss as believers. Because it's nice we had this whole conversation about God with us, he cares about us, but listen what he tells John. Behold this one. And what did John do? From that day, he took her to take care of her. So he provided the roof, whatever. And I think sometimes we forget that the people around us, sometimes maybe even difficult. God calls us as Christians to love and care for them.
Well, there's something that I think about a lot in terms of like from kids. You go to school and it's kind of drilled into your head to compete. So a lot of the time we only think about our own needs. You need to become first in tests. If that's sports, you have to win. You have to get the best job because you have to get the best car, you have to get the best house. And it's really all about me.
Yeah.
So that what should be natural to us, is that innate want to serve each other and be there for each other. Sometimes it's overshadowed by what is instilled in us all the time to make sure and take care of you first.
Yeah.
So you can see it here in terms of what God wants from us. But even that now has become a difficult thing to become the default. Because of how crazy the world is around us now. So you can have to remind yourself.
And I think that's why this conversation is here for it. Just to kind of give us back a compass that, hey, so like I say, God concerned about stuff with me, with my son. But there are people in my life that God has called me to be a help, to be a blessing too. And being a blessing is not just the material things. So I'm not competing with anybody, but I can pick up the phone and just call somebody I know who's going through, and just encourage them. As I say, not thinking about somebody I need to go and call, what I mean? But, and that's where the conversation, so you're right. Our culture has set us up so much to compete with each other that we've lost the value in serving one another. So, it's excellent.
Good conversation. I feel like I really enjoyed this one. Today, anything you want to say before we close off today?
I guess just to recap the two main points. Listen, wherever you are in your journey, God loves and cares about you. It's not just about the big picture, it's about the everyday. And secondly, because He loves you that way, go out and love on the people that God has in your life, in your sphere of influence.
So that brings us to the end of this episode, folks, and just as we spoke about, care for each other. So share this video with a friend because you care about them. I hope to see you next week with some more conversations with Hope City. And remember, come as you are, no perfect people allowed.